Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the front brakes on a Nissan Quest. So let's go ahead and get started. Now this particular Quest here, this is a 2008 Nissan Quest. I'll also have links down in the description to other videos I've done with this vehicle. I've done other things with it, including the rear brakes, which I'll have that link down in the description. You'll also find it across the top right now if you want to check that out. But for this right here, I'm going to show you now what's needed to complete this. I'll also have some links down in the description to some of the items I'm going to be using in this video, including brake pads, things like that, in case you want to purchase them. But take a look here. This is what you'll need to complete this. Then we'll get this thing up in the air and get this wheel off and get started. You're going to need a 21mm socket to remove the lug nuts on the wheel. Next, you are going to need a ratchet with a 17mm socket, and that's going to be to remove the caliper bolt so we can take that off to get to the pads. Obviously, you're going to need your replacement pads. As already just mentioned, I'll have links down in the description. If you want to pick some up, you can get them through there as well. Next, you are going to need a C-clamp, and that's to compress the pistons on the caliper, because when you remove the old ones, the caliper has been pressed out more. It's not going to fit over the new ones, so you're going to have to compress it back to fit over it. So I recommend just using a regular C-clamp. They make tools for it, but that's quick and easy. But this is what's needed right here. You can see I have it jacked up. Also have a jack stand. You don't want to rely solely on the jack. Always use a jack stand when you're raising a vehicle for safety. But now we're going to remove this. Now, if you have the hubcaps like I have, you have the lug nuts which go over them, holding them on. So we'll have to take them off to remove it. Of course, if you have rims, then it just comes right off. So I'm going to take this off. We'll get the wheel off and I'll show you what we're looking at. Coming in here, taking a look inside. Here you have your rotor. This is your caliper bracket. And then we have right here, we come around on this side, I'll get a better shot of it. That's a 17mm. That's our caliper guide pin right there. So that comes out. We'll remove that. And then you have one right down there on the bottom, right here. So both of those will come off. And then that caliper will then slide out. We can get to the pads, swap them out, compress it, put everything back together, and wrap this up. Now these can be on here sometimes pretty tight. So you might have to give it a couple whacks here just to loosen it. There we go. You can also use a breaker bar if you want, but a couple good hits and that thing will come loose. Now you don't want to remove this one completely because we need to take the bottom one off, and if you do, then you won't have it being held in place for the leverage, but we'll just kind of loosen it up like that. Just don't pull it out yet. Let's head down to the bottom and do that one. And that one was pretty tight too. I had to give it a good whack, but we'll loosen that up. And now we'll pull both of them out so that way the caliper can come out and we can get to the brake pads. Pulling out by hand. They have a little bit of grease on them, so I usually just set them upright on the ground. That way you're not getting dirt on them. But now we can just slide this out like that, and we'll bring this around back because you don't want to be putting strain on the brake line. So we'll just position it here around back. And now we can pull out the old brake pads and we'll look at them. Here's obviously what came off compared to the new ones. And if you see there, look at all the brake pad on there compared to this one. This one's definitely wearing down. You might have a little bit of life on it, but I don't want to risk it because then you could be hitting metal on metal. But that one's probably down to about 1/8 of an inch. And this one here is more like 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch. Same with this one here. You can see that compared to that. So we come up here, we have the rails. You have one here and one here. We're going to remove these as well. Pull those off, and then we'll put the new ones on. They don't always come with them, but if you can get them where they come with new ones, that way you can see here. These are kind of corroded and rusted out. We'll put new ones on, and then we'll lubricate them and put the new pads in. So here's our new one. The way that you're going to want to put them in is this way. You can kind of see the groove right in there. So this is going to go up like that. You're just going to press them in like that. And there on the other side does the same thing. And if we come on this side, you can see it. That's how it goes in. So now we'll put the one down here on the bottom, same way. Bring it in like this. Push it down. Let's see. There we go. Go, locked in. See that one? And then there's the top one. And now we're ready to bring in our new pads. And I'm going to put a little bit of some silicone grease on there to lubricate it a little bit. And then we'll slide them in. You can see I put a little bit of the lubricant right there, the brake grease. We'll slide it right down in. It'll lock in. Bring this one around. Okay. Now we have the bottom one in. Just slide it in. Now we'll do the other side. Put a little bit of the grease on it. That one went on this way, so the other side's going to go this way. So let's head over there and I'll put that one in. Just put this one in as well. You can see it. This is our outer, our inner. Look how nice those look. The new rails are in. Everything is lubricated on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to compress the pistons on this caliper with that C-clamp, and then we can slide it back over here and wrap this up. Here's a close-up. You can see the pistons right here. See how they're pressed out. They're coming out approximately maybe about a ½ inch out. Once you put your new brake pads on, that's not going to fit over it. So you're going to need to push them all the way back into the caliper, so that way it'll slide over, and then once you get in, then you can pump the pedal and kind of build it up to where it needs to be to fit over the new brakes. Here's one of our old brake pads. What you'll do is with the rounded edge, you'll lay it in here so it fits to the contour of the caliper, and then you can put your C-clamp like this and just press it down that way. All right, so we have it fitting over. I'll show you what we're going to be grabbing onto here. On this side, you have this bolt right here. This is where your brake line goes into. I'm just going to cap it there. We're not going to be, some people might say, oh, you're going to damage and all that stuff. We're not going to be crushing it real hard. We're just going to use that as leverage, and then these will compress. So let me show you. So we have it like this. We'll lay it over that. So this is how we have it. Let me get a close-up. So we have it positioned here. Like I said, we're not going to be damaging the line. You're just using it as leverage. We have the adjustable end here on that brake pad. And then now I'm going to be turning it slow, and that'll push the pistons back into place. And we want it level with the caliper right there. So as you can see, we have it all the way back. So now we can just take the C-clamp off, remove this, and everything is now all the way back. So now you can slide it over your new brakes and be done with it. So we'll bring it here, and I'll show you how easy it'll go right over. Bring it on here. Want to make sure that you don't damage the little boot that connects to the caliper. And then now that we have those in, we'll take our caliper guide pins, slide them in, hand tighten them, top and bottom. Come in here. I'm going to tighten this down And I'll have on the screen what the torque spec is, but I'm going to tighten these and then we will torque them. I'm not going to show all that on here. We'll be back once this is all tightened up, and then we'll put the wheel on and wrap this up. All right, everything has been tightened down properly. We have it on. Let's get the wheel on here. And I'm going to tighten this down and then we'll be back. All right, well, that wraps it up. That wraps up this video on how to replace or change out the front brakes on a Nissan Quest. As mentioned already, there's links down in the description to other videos I've done with this vehicle, as well as to some of the items if you need to purchase anything. I hope that this video was informative for you, helped you out. Please send me any questions and comments. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.